through the news, and then I started my issue, and that was me. It was like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm not about this. All right,
Awesome. You got a joke to open?
I do.
Awesome.
This week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by tapping your back pocket to feel that your wallet's there. One way to not derail your entire afternoon. Hello and welcome back to Here's What I Don't Get, from north to south, east to west, the only intercontinental podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues. I am your host, Ted Burton. With me today, all the way from south of the equator, it's Joel Chaco.
I keep pointing. Hola, Binchara! Tab, it's been a long time since you and I have done a show together. What are we at now? This is like 7 episodes in between now, I think.
It's been quite a few. Yeah, you mentioned it when we were in pre-show, and I was like, yeah, you're right. It was like January.
Yeah, something like that. And I think I'm now allowed back on the show proper because for like I think 2 episodes in a row, I was the only one without a beard. And so, beard season is back because it was just too freaking hot to keep doing the show. Or because like a lot of the times I have to like turn the air conditioning off and turn off the fan because it's just too much noise. It gets picked. I mean, sometimes it doesn't get picked up, but I pick it up the whole time. So this time around, yeah, it's back in its full glory and it's gray glory. And yeah, man, we got a lot to catch up on. I think
We do.
Yeah, I've been sitting on a couple of stories to share with you. I actually the last time I guess the last time you and I were the last time I was on a show, you were technically on the show, but like added in post. Right. Yeah. Like on my last episode, I was here. So I love that, by the way. Actually, you know what? Like if you do that again, like, that's kind of a nice touch.
Episode.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, not that if you miss an episode, if you miss an episode, that would be the way to go.
I like a lot more of those episodes where you're not here and I don't have to deal with you, but then sometimes you'll say some shit. You could just keep that up. That would be great.
Oh man. So the thing is that I was actually coming back. So a few episodes ago, I told the saga of my van, didn't I? I think I did. Like where the bastard ran off with my van. So I was listening to your contribution to that episode as I was triumphantly returning from 5 hours away, another city 5 hours away, coming all the way back in, listening to that episode in my van because I got it back, baby. So now we finally have 2 vehicles. My wife can drive one of them. And so I don't have to do all of the driving in this household. All of the groceries, all of the chores, all that kind of stuff. Now I have help. My wife can actually drive for these things. But it was kind of funny how it worked out.
Yeah. Van,
I have it.
River,
the women. But the thing is like, so what ended up happening is my wife hits me up one day while I was working on Signal. She shows me a screenshot and it was, like the fake Facebook profile of the wife of the bastard who took my van, putting out an ad in Encarnacion, which is 5 hours away from me. And she was asking in an expat group if anybody knew of any place that was renting. It was like, all of a sudden we're like, oh crap, they're moving again. And I gotta get on this. And so I've been sitting on their landlord's phone number for a while. I didn't want to play that card just yet. But once they put that in, all of a sudden now I'm hitting their landlord going, like putting up pictures. Do you know this man? Do you know this man and this man's wife? These 2 crooks stole my van and I'm looking for them. And I think you know who they are. And so this person didn't respond to me right away. But the wife did. And she sent it to me from like her husband's phone number. So like, and I was just like, maybe this is like, bullshit or something like that. But she was like, look, if you want the van, just come get it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a trap. Like, this is not going to be good. And so I was like, well, okay, I got to rally the troops. So I ended up hiring a guy who was an ex-cop, ex-taxi driver to come with me all the way out there so that he could drive my truck back and I could drive the van back. And we had to like, and she's like, and the battery's dead. I'm not dealing with that. You're going to deal with that. I was like, oh, great.
One more fucking thing to do.
Yeah. Well, no. So we ended up, the night before, I'm like, I got to get up early. I got to get on the road early. It's going to be another 5-hour drive out there and then 5 hours back. So I got to get up early. But my dickhead neighbors, my hillbilly Paraguayan neighbors, my redneck Paraguayan neighbors, they decided that was a perfect night to have a party. So they were blasting the tunes and they were all night long. They just kept going and going and going. And so the next morning I didn't have enough sleep and you know, I wanted to send the message to them just to kind of, you know, like a message that breaks language barriers, you know, something that was very clear. So, you know, they partied till like 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And so I of course was getting out of the road at like 6 a.m. and I have to drive by their, like, they've got their little makeshift houses like right by my driveway on the way out. So I thought, what better thing to do than to, you know, like, you shared your music with me, I'm going to share my music with you. So as I'm driving out, I cranked my stereo as loud as humanly possible in my truck. And I got up early enough to like, I had time to like think about what song I was going to play. Cause like, you know, I was only going to play one song, but I had to think of myself, like, what's a good song? And for a while I was thinking of playing Ba What Da Ba by Kid Rock. Cause I thought that would be a good wake up song for them.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that
it's
one
not
is
universal.
Well, yeah. And it doesn't take long. It takes a little too long to build up to the part. And then it crescendos and then it just dies. I was like, I need something that like keeps going the whole time. So I was going through different stuff. I was like, you know, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by Puddle of Mud. I was like, okay, you know, because they use that in like the army to like really piss off the enemy and stuff. I thought about Enter Sandman by Metallica, but they
got
like
a real
that
slow
song.
start.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much. So I finally found the perfect song, and because I am an immigrant who comes from the land of the ice and snow, and there's hot springs where near where I grew up, out in Banff. There's hot springs. I played the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, which is absolutely a perfect 2.5-minute song to really send that message clear. You know,
That's Kashmir.
Yeah. No. That's just Kashmir. Sorry.
Down.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. And that one worked. That it just worked perfectly because the grandmother and like the grandkids, they were already out and like doing something with the chickens. And I'm driving by and I'm staring them all down just the whole time, just playing this as loud as I can, driving as slow as I possibly could. And you know, it's like a 2.5-minute song, but I played the whole darn thing. And later I talked with the grandmother and she loved it. She loved the fact that I did that because it was her grandkids that were the ones that were partying. And she loved it. So we got all the way out there. We finally get to the city and we find the place. The lady is like, you know, just harried. She's just like, my husband's out of the country. Just take the van. Just get it out of here. I don't care. I don't even care anymore. And so basically we get there and we took a little while to get this thing out of there. We finally did. But I go and I get it onto the street. We get it all charged up. I go to like start the engine, everything, you know, get it going. And I'm driving in traffic to go to check my mirror. And the fucker like bashed off my rear view mirror. There was no rear view, and he must have done it like real hard because there was a good chunk of the glass missing from the windshield. And I was thinking, what kind of animal gets so angry? But I brought it up to my wife, and she's like, well, you know, he's a cokehead. He probably just needed the mirror to snort off of. So we got it back. Got it home. Everything was good. I got a chance to listen to your contribution to the last episode. This guy, it was so funny because the guy's so demonic. Like we had a little sticker of the Blessed Virgin Mary on the back, and like there's all these stickers that were there from like different dealerships and stuff. But the only one that was like violently ripped off was the Mary one. And so we just basically, got it back into the house. Everything's fine. So yeah, that was the van news, and I've got a little bit of. I saw Mr. Kill Everything said, sounds like we have some fish news coming up. You do, buddy, during the news. So that's what's come up on my side of things. How about yourself, man? Other than well, I mean, we had Walletgate just happen, right? That's to bring everybody into speed on the the advertiser for this episode.
Yeah, my whole day got derailed. Like it seems like every time that I want to, I'm planning on leaving work early. I'll have a long day of nothing happening, and then shit will go south at about 3:30, and just like fuck everything for the rest of the day. It happens every time. It's very very irritating. But yeah, this weekend I went out to Tulsa. I saw Tim. I saw Truckin' and Tuckin'. I saw
Nice.
some other friends and family, and I finished the Harry Hole book I was listening to. Um, but yeah, other than that, been a pretty calm time. Aside for the other stuff that happened today, but I'll be getting that into that at my issue. So, if you're ready
Well,
to hop into some things,
well, I just wanted to throw one quick thing in. So, I think it was like a couple Saturdays ago was the the feast day for Our Lady of Lourdes, and so for my kids, we watched the Song of Bernadette, which is a movie about that, starring the lovely Jennifer Jones. And when we looked her up, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, yeah. So I don't know. I guess just because you said Tulsa, I had to bring it up. But yeah, I am pretty much ready to go. Here's what I don't get: cultural vandalism. You know what I mean when I say cultural vandalism, Tap?
I've got a pretty good idea, but
All
I'll
right.
let you
Well,
go ahead and run with it.
well, I mean, we get the word vandalism from the Vandals, right? And so these were like roving bands of, this is if you got any of our history buffs
Uh,
in the audience.
Joel,
Oh,
I just want to disavow on Tony's behalf real quick, right up here up front. The Vandals didn't do nothing. They're
they
good
did nothing
boys.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah, they were
so
innocent.
they would go and they would screw things up pretty big. They it's this idea starting with like, I mean, actual vandalism, which is like, something I witnessed before I left Canada, where our churches got a bunch of bloody handprints put all over the place, and there would be paint thrown onto their statues and stuff. And so vandals, what they would do is they would like go and mess things up, and they would break your statues, and like a lot of people go, oh, it's just a statue, like it's just a statue. It's like, no, it's like your memories, man. Like it's your memories. It's like your who you are. It's your culture,
Well, in the
and
case of
so
churches, it's a symbol, and
yes.
their symbolic desecration of it is also a symbol, and it's all that's in lieu of violence. They would prefer to do violence against you, but they're unwilling or unable.
Well, it's also to demoralize you. It's like
Yeah.
that. It's to send that message of you're not welcome here. And what I mean by cultural vandalism is we are seeing that spill into all of our favorite movies, all of our favorite comic books, books. Like, I mean, Roald Dahl books are getting. They were just talking about this recently. They're going to be rewriting a bunch of the Roald Dahl books. James Bond is getting rewritten, and it's got that very like it's not even Fahrenheit 451, because Fahrenheit 451 is just straight up burn them all. This is
Yeah.
very 1984, right? Because like basically what you're doing is you're rewriting history, you're rewriting the culture, and we're seeing it all over the place. And it's in all these movies with the gender reversals, the race reversals, like in all these different ways. Where like my wife was bringing this up, like in Sweden they do this St. Lucy festival, which is like a little girl who wears like candles around her head. Like it's like a religious festival. of a real person who really existed. And like recently, like last year, she shared a story where they had a little boy doing it now. It's like, you don't have to do that. That was a real girl. Like, I understand the tradition, and you're just always tweaking it and always ruining it. And it's like people bitch and moan about like well, okay, I used to be a huge Star Wars fan. I used to be a big Star Wars fan. When I was growing
Same.
up. I know you're Star Trek, but Star Wars was my thing. That was my jam. And like, I saw the first the Force Awakens, and I remember I came out of it. My buddy was all over. He thought it was great. I was like, "What are you freaking talking about, man? That thing was awful." And, like, I instantly hated it. And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, well, first off, like, I mean, you've completely ruined like the Sith. You've ruined like Jedi powers. Instantly, she's so good at everything right away. I have a problem with that. But my biggest problem was what they did to Han. They made Han into a total deadbeat loser. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he just left his wife and left his kid, and he was a terrible father. His kid ended up being one of the worst people in the universe, and like, it's all because of Han. We don't
And
even know why he did that. He just did.
his character arc in the original movies, and more specifically in the original, is that he goes from being this like selfish, uncaring person to being someone who like in the final movie he's a general that's like leading
Yeah,
this almost suicide mission for the greater good,
exactly.
and he had
Yes.
to like learn over the course of those movies and sacrifice and grow. And then they're just like, yeah, but what
Undo.
if he was just that same guy that we met in the
Yeah.
cantina and in the first movie? And yeah, everyone just like lapped that movie up. I was a little bit ahead of the curve from you on that one, and the day they announced J.J. Abrams was directing it, I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, I'm out.
you had
This
reason.
shit's going downhill." And I was
I
so
have you. I
glad.
have you beat. I was just like, when they said Disney, I was like, screw it, I'm out. Like,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you sold it to Disney. We're done. It's over.
yeah. I felt so vindicated when the last one came out, and everyone was like, "This shit sucks." I was like, "That's what I've been saying. I've been saying this."
Well, if you go back in like in past episodes of here's what I don't get at the beginning, like, I was really reluctant to even go to like Rogue One, right? And I liked Rogue One. I did. I just enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's a good Star Wars movie. It was like a ride. It was fun. And I mean, anybody who liked The Force Awakens, it was fun. But the thing is like, going back to it, like, this little simple, like, well, what if Han Solo didn't, grow or anything? Like, you just undo everything that was in there, just gone. And one of the most disrespectful character deaths of all time, there's a guy, I forget his name, Chris something on YouTube, who's talked about this. And like he got a villain death.
Yeah,
Right? Like, he got like stabbed and thrown and falling, and that is a villain death. He
that's
didn't get
like
an honorable thing. He didn't sacrifice himself. He didn't do anything like that. And then, oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
in horror there is that like dichotomy, right? Like you can have the most brutal killing of like the stoner or the like guy that cheats on his girlfriend, or the girl that's part of that like cheating menage a trois. But then
Yeah.
you have the like guy that loves the final girl, and he has to go out by like, run, you got to get away, and he gets a quick kind of clean death. And sometimes they fuck that up, and it's like, how do you guys not understand? Like, it'd be one thing for Han Solo to die, to sacrifice himself to save everyone,
It's the way
but
he should have died.
and like he could have a Gandalf thing where Gandalf falls to his death, but it's not a
Yes.
villain death because he sacrificed himself so that they don't want to come back for him.
What was
And
with the
that's not what
Balrog
happens to
too?
Han.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like with Han, it's like, hey, it's my son. I'm gonna finally go and have a talk with my son. Dead. It's just like, and it was so dumb. And a flawed man of God. Good to see you here, Stu. Luke's death was more disrespectful. I wouldn't know. I didn't go. I was so mad I didn't go to the second one. But I know that he just kind of faded away. And apparently, like, Mark Hamill
After they
didn't even
ruined-
know. He didn't even know until he saw the theater opening. Like,
Well,
there's
yeah.
like there's like footage of his face, like he is just dead. He's just dead, and like it,
In follow-up interviews, Mark Hamill has said that the Luke in that whatever that one was that the
um,
Last Skywalker,
no, it
the
was
the final
Jedi.
countdown.
Yeah, Last
the
Jedi. Yeah.
He says that the Luke in that movie is not the Luke that he played in the original movies, and like that's his way of, because I think they brought him in with that first movie, and when he was just basically just had a cameo, and he was like,
Yeah.
"All right, we'll do these," and then they were like, "Gotcha, bitch! Your character's an awful dickhead to everyone." He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's not who I
Well,
thought I was gonna be."
and it goes with like so it goes with like altering canon, right? Like altering canon is a big problem, right? It's a big problem because it changes the meaning. It completely changes the meaning. And like I did go through a period of my life where I would read the books, the extended universe, so to speak. And I loved it. There was some really good stuff. I liked the Timothy Zahn stuff at the beginning, the Heir to the Empire. Like that one really kicked it off for me. I liked it. I liked what Luke was doing. I liked the idea of this, they keep going. And the thing that which is interesting because it ties into it more. Cultural vandalism is reboots. Cultural vandalism is remakes. And it's not just movies, like it's television shows, it's music. Like I don't know if this is really before your time or not, but like Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. I remember when I was at a party and the like Notorious B.I.G. had just died. And shortly after that, we got this like schlocky I'll Be Missing You song by P. Diddy. And it's just Every Breath You Take by the Police with just new lyrics over top. He didn't do anything to it. He didn't add an extra beat. He didn't do anything to that. And so like my son will come to me sometimes and he'll have like something on the radio and we'll like listen. And I'll be like, oh, I love that song. And then it's like just some like, like reggaeton, crappy Latino singer, like, saying vile lyrics over a song I really liked. And actually, I'm going back to I did my Led Zeppelin thing with the Kashmir. P. Diddy did it again when it was the Godzilla soundtrack, and it was just Kashmir, and like
he just rapped over it. Yeah,
he just rapped over it. It doesn't do anything. Like there's a difference between remixing and rebooting, right? Like there's a difference between like a cover song, or I mean, I know you hate on Weird Al, but like. To be fair, like his band plays the songs. It's an homage, and like at least there's some clever lyrics, like some toying with the lyrics. A parody is not a reboot. A parody is not cultural vandalism, if in my opinion, because it adds something new to it. It's meant to be an homage, whereas cultural vandalism is meant to subvert your expectations and flip what get fanboys upset. And like I'm not even that big of a fanboy about things, but it's just like it's so frustrating because you get like you've talked about before the redhead extinction, right? Mm-hmm. Like yeah, so this is part of it. Like Mary Jane Parker, right? All of a sudden black, right? You've got the new Peter Pan movie coming out, right? From Disney, I think it's Disney Plus that's doing it. And it's like an East Indian Peter Pan. It's now not Peter Pan, it's Peter Pan and Wendy. So we know that Wendy's going to get elevated to this superstar. She'll have no flaws, none whatsoever.
No, of course not.
And Tinkerbell is now black. We had the Pinocchio fairy black. Like
they made the Little Mermaid black, another classic redhead.
Yes, and it's like, so have I mentioned before Yuri Bezmenov, the former KGB officer who defected to Canada? Have I brought up him before on the show? You know better. Okay, so Yuri Bezmenov was a guy. I don't even think is his real name, but like if you look him up, there's lots of his videos online, and like in the 80s he was like predicting a lot of the crap we're going through right now, and he puts it into terms of demoralization, which brings it back to like why the Vandals would do this to their enemies. It's like, oh, we're just going to destroy everything you built up. We're going to destroy your buildings, and we're going to destroy all your artwork. And like this is how you erase a history. It's almost worse than a genocide. I'm not saying it is worse than a genocide, but it's it's a cultural genocide, because basically what you're doing is you're taking everything that was and you're destroying it so that it's taken off the map. You don't know about it anymore. And so like pretty soon, like for example, even going back to Star Wars. I mean, George Lucas culturally vandalized his own movies when he did the special editions, and you try to go and you try to get your hands on the original theatrical release, and it's like almost impossible sometimes. It's like really hard to get like Jabba's palace to get the original song in there. I hate the remake version with the like CGI singer guy. It's awful. Yeah. It's super Pixar-y. It has nothing to do with the way that the original scene went, and just like the vibe of the original scene. But it goes beyond that, because like, you know, going back to 1984, right? So Winston's like, you know, with the Ministry of Truth, they're re-altering stories from before, news stories, so that you aren't even able to look them up. And this is why, like, I mean, as much as I enjoy, like, I've got right here, I've got my Kindle, right? And I like having a Kindle because I can get like 99-cent books here and there. And I like having a Kindle sometimes because when my wife has gone to sleep, you know, I can turn off the light, and I've got this little light over here. I can read in bed for a little while longer without disturbing my wife while she's trying to sleep. It's great. But I don't trust the Kindle. I don't trust the Kindle at all, because like at some point in time, they can just take away my access to a book. You know, they haven't done it yet. I got a book by Devin Stack that is banned on Amazon, but I bought it when it wasn't banned. So it's still on my Kindle. But if I ever get a new Kindle, I can't get it onto the new one.
Yeah,
it won't let me download it. So it's like I'm all about the getting of the hard copies of things, but like this is the only way we can do it. Like I immediately jumped on onto eBay and started looking for Roald Dahl books, just to find these earlier printings of them before they're mucked with. Because the thing is that like those are classics. The guy was, you know, like, and I'm surprised that they even got that far, because I'm pretty sure he got like the anti-Semite label later in life, and like I'm surprised that, you know, he's still celebrated. I'm surprised that like BFG was made, you know, after all of that. But like at the same time, like these kind of things are happening at such a lightning pace. And I mean, like, you know, pick a franchise, pick any franchise, you know, like He-Man, totally ruined. You've got Masters of the Universe, totally ruined. You've got Indiana Jones, ruined. James
totally
Bond, ruined. You've got like, just keep going down the list. Well, Star Trek. Look at Picard, man. Like they have turned Picard into like unwatchable, completely unwatchable. I can't even begin to start. And like all the like progress, all of the stuff that we go through as like followers of these stories gets just wiped out in a second with just like, oh, you know, we're going to subvert your expectations, and like pure fucking hubris, you know, like that, like these things that they do it's cruel. It's absolutely cruel. And like, I'm seeing it a little bit in wrestling, right? Like a little bit in wrestling. So for example, like, you know, it's not the same thing, but like when I was growing up, it was WWF, right? World Wrestling Federation. It had a good ring to it. It had a great logo. And like in the early 2000s, it turned to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, right? And fine, all right. So now we've taken the lid off. We know that kayfabe is dead, and we know it's all fake, you know, ish. But now, like, you know, like we're getting these things that are coming in where they're rewriting history in the timelines of wrestling, and they're doing things like, you know, just little stuff like you're in the indie scene, you're getting a lot more of these like intergender matches, right? So you're getting a lot of these intergender matches. So it's like a woman versus a man, and you know
they just want Andy Kaufman's title.
if only. But it's just like all these things are just, and it's like there must be a committee somewhere. They're like, oh, is there a group of men that actually like this thing? Let's make sure we infiltrate that and turn it into total garbage. And like, like video games you liked, video games that get interpreted on TV or into movies, total garbage. Like, even my son picks up on it. Like, he's really excited about the Super Mario Brothers movie coming out. And he watches it, he turns to me, he's like, Peach is going to be basically like the superhero, this, isn't she? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. That's what it looks like. It's going to be Peach. Yeah, exactly.
Today
on
you become a man. Your first franchise has been ruined. You are now a man.
But it's not even just like in the culture. I'll get one more point in because I really want to hear more from you on this. But like, I'm going through this as a Catholic, right? So as a Catholic, I mean, it was bad enough in Vatican II where they got rid of the Latin Mass, almost got rid of it completely, and then all of a sudden you've got, you got the Novus Ordo, the new order of the Mass. And it's super cornball. We went from like really nice like vestments that like look reverent and like respectful to like polyester ponchos and Birkenstocks and like, like the corniest 60s music. And it's like it's super demoralizing because you go to this and you're like, this is the lamest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I know why I fell away. It was because you took all the things that were beautiful and like traditional and with purpose and powerful, you took them out and you gave us this garbage in return. And now they're getting rid of it to the point where we aren't even going to be able to have it anymore. The Pope is trying to outlaw it completely to have the Latin Mass. And then you go back and like,
fuck?
I don't, yeah, completely. And like, we're getting really bad on this. And like, I've got some of my favorite Protestants in the audience tonight. And I'm not trying to offend you, but we're talking about canon, right? We talked about canon. I mean, if you talk about cultural like vandalism, there were 7 books ripped out of the Bible by Luther, and like so, the Protestant Bible's got 66 books, and the Catholic Bible has 73 books. And there's times where I'm trying to like explain like our belief system to people, and it's like, crap, I have to like not use anything from those 7 books because they don't have them, and like also too the wording is changed in each of the books, and it's like we don't have anything in uniform, and like this is how they split us up, and this is how they break us, because there's still people who liked Star Wars before, during the time when I liked Star Wars, who still like it now and still like shocking. Everything that came. It blows my mind. And people who are like, oh, a new comic book movie comes out, like Ant-Man, is like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I haven't looked at any of these forever.
What's worse on those is like the people that are still excited about the new Star Wars stuff is that like, so there are people like you and me that we're the King James Bible of Star Wars, where we're like, only this original stuff matters. Yeah. And then there's like they're the Protestants where they're like, oh, the prequel trilogy's okay, and some of these later Disney movies are okay. But then there are people that are like, are you good? Did you watch Andor yet? It's the best Star Wars show on Disney Plus so far. And it's like, that bar is so pathetically low. After last week's episode, I got drunk and I was watching YouTube, and Critical Drinker and Red Letter Media were both like, first episode of Star Trek Picard season 3 is pretty good, but only because everything before it was so unfathomably bad that this like mere competence now appears to be expertise. And I'm just like, am I fucking taking crazy pills? You guys just walk back to this shit and are like, oh, please, sir, may I have another pile of shit to shove into my mouth?
Though. That's their job. That's their money. That's their bread and butter. They have to watch it. And they don't have to give it praise after one fucking episode. You can have the common sense to go like, I'm just gonna review the whole season once it's all out and it's actual shit. That's different. Yeah. I would say this though, like there's the even worse, like, so I remember when we got our dog and we took her to like dog classes, like puppy classes, and we're at the puppy class and there was like another couple there and they had their dog there and they named it Ray. Like R-E. And I was like, and we just immediately like found a way to like not sit next to them. Cause like, you just know they suck.
Yeah.
Like you just know they suck. It's like, dude, it was like 2019. You know, Ray sucks by this point. There's no walking back on Ray, but they named their puppy Ray because they love the new Star Wars
Yeah.
movies. And it's
Well,
like,
now you're stuck with that name forever, loser.
but this thing, it's not, it's also architecture. Like, I mean, brutalism and all this, but like architecture. You see it. You'll find these pictures online of this like beautiful, like Gothic church that's like got a new modern lobby put on it, or like a big, just awkward sideways pyramid coming out the side. Like, whoa, look what we were able to do. And it's like, why would you do that? Why are you doing this? And like going back to the Catholic Church, we had these beautiful, amazing churches with incredible altars and incredible like stained glass. And now it's like they're like, no, get rid of it. Put the IKEA table in and make sure that you like and make sure that like none of the artwork looks like actually art. Like make it look like the blocky clip art that you always see on the out in the in every ad now. And it's like it works. It works. It's super demoralizing. It makes you feel like absolute freaking garbage. And now it's like anytime anything is announced that they're doing anything, I just know it's going to suck. There's not one thing that's going to be like everything sucks now. And it's like, oh, we might make Back to the Future. Please don't make Back to the Future. Don't do that. And they're probably going to do it. And Marty will be a chick or something. And and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're redoing what is it? We're redoing
Lord of the Rings now.
Lord of the Ring. Yeah, it's like you didn't learn your lesson from the Rings of Power. Okay, just keep doing it. Yeah. They don't even care about money anymore. It's just about demoralizing you. They don't care about money. If they cared about money, then like they would actually do these things right down the middle. Try not to appease. But everything's pillpul now. Everything is just like political garbage, and it's just a lecture. I'm giving a lecture now, but you came to this for the lecture. But like it's different when it's all of a sudden it's like now it's like I don't even know if a new Winnie the Pooh comes out, I can't take my son to it because it might suck. You think Ray is bad? How do you think my cat feels? We named him Ron Swanson, and oh no, and now the episode 3 of The Last of Us dropped. By the way, I don't know. Speaking of The Last of Us, The Last of Us actually, I think it's filmed near Calgary. And my brother-in-law is an extra and in a lot of shows. And he was an extra in The Last of Us. And he was like really happy about it. And we were happy for him. And then all of a sudden, it's like that thing happened. And like everybody's pointing out, it's like, oh no, they're making a season 2 and we know what's going to happen in season 2 as well. So, but yeah, man, cultural vandalism, it is so bad. It is so unbelievably bad. And it's only getting worse. It's just only getting worse. And I think I covered all the bases. Oh, and like, yeah, it's just I'm at a loss. Yeah. I'm at a loss at this point. So that's my issue. I don't know if you have more to add to it.
I want to revisit. So you're talking about like the remakes and the reboots and all that.
Yes.
And 4 or 5 years ago, they would make these reboots, and I'd ask the question like, "Who is this for? Who wants to see this? Like, where's the audience? Why are they making this? Why don't they make their own thing?" And I've stopped asking myself that question because I agree with you completely on the cultural vandalism, that it's not simply good enough. I used to think it was like they're afraid to fail at their own merits, but it's not good enough now to just let you have your thing. They now need to poison the well, because even something that you love that's good, if they put enough bad stuff into it, it will make the good part. Like Star Wars is a great example, because there are now far more bad Star Wars movies than there ever were good Star Wars movies. And like Star Trek, after watching season 1 of Picard, it was very hard for me to watch The Next Generation again, because they really ruined the character of Jean-Luc in my mind. Like, it's a different universe, or it's a spin-off, or it's a sequel, and this isn't the same one. But like, your brain can't make those differentiations as well.
It's
it starts
hard.
to poison it, and then the Terminator is another great example of this as
Well,
a franchise where
I had to
they
stop at two. I had to. I
yeah,
couldn't go on. It was perfect. It was wrapped up. It was perfect. Why do anything else? I
and
couldn't do it.
I'm even like an apologist for three, and that three's not great, but it's a fun enough watch. And
Mhm.
Salvation, which I hated when it came out, the needle has pushed Salvation to the like because it was competent. It's like actually good now compared to all the other sequels that have come.
Right.
Um, but it's not good enough for them to make something new. They have to destroy that old thing for you, and
Yeah.
they're doing it intentionally to destroy the thing you want. Because if you think about it, it'd be easy to say, "Oh, well, they're just modern filmmakers suck. These scripts are bad," but if there's a lack of authenticity and sincerity to what they're making, because even if you were just bad at these things, if it was just like bad writers and bad filmmakers and a bad storyline, or like it came out in the wrong time period, once in a while there would be a reboot that was like really good, or something that was
It's been a
like
while. It's been a
the,
while.
you know what I'm thinking of when I think of
A
a
good reboot?
reboot of an old property that's actually really good is Denzel
Yeah.
Washington's The Equalizer. I didn't realize
Okay.
that was based on an old TV show, just
Oh.
like the Harrison Ford's The Fugitive. Like they're both really good movies. They're tied
Hmm.
into an older show from the '60s, but
Hmm.
they're kind of good on their own. Um,
Well, we
and
talked about the Adams Family when I was on with Buck, right? So
another
those
great
Adams
one,
Family
yeah,
movies were actually, but they're, I mean, I don't know, man. I would love to put it out to the audience, but I have this feeling that creativity died, and I can't quite put my finger on what year it was. I think it might have been 2012, but I'm not quite sure because I feel like creativity completely just died, and
yeah,
like we don't get any new good characters. We don't get any new good, like you look at the comic books, right? And everything needs to be take a known franchise and make him a loser. Like
make them,
Thor is a loser now, and like make
yeah,
like do all this kind of stuff, emasculate him completely, and then make him better by making him a woman afterwards, and making him a black woman afterwards, like be Batgirl, Iron Heart, all of these kind of things. Like it's like be more creative, please,
yeah,
please. Like, just like, please. All I'm asking is for some creativity. And you hear this whole thing of like, well, it's they don't want to take a creative risk, but they're ready to do a creative risk to completely and totally insult everybody to the right of Mao in
hmm
like in any of these properties. Like, you have no problem completely and totally alienating a completely established fan base. No problem with that. That's not a big enough risk for you. But your big risk is like that you don't want to do is anything new. I mean, look, we know you can't do anything new. Look what you just did with Rings of Power, right? I
yeah,
didn't even watch any of it. I've watched Critical Drinkers and stuff to see what. That's all I do now. That's my entertainment now. I just watch Screen Rants, the pitch meeting movies, or the pitch meetings, and I watch Critical Drinker, and occasionally Nerdstalgic, or some of these. It depends on what mood we're in, but all the time we're just going, okay, like what sucks about this thing, like like that's really what it comes down to, is you just know everything sucks, and creativity died. You talk about like Tropic Thunder being like unmakeable today. Like, it was
hmm
completely unmakeable today. But like, what year was that? That was like what, 2008, 2000, 2009, maybe
yeah.
2009, right? That, I mean, well, I'm dating myself, but like, it doesn't feel that long ago. But like, it was apparently. And like, the thing is like, you can't make that now. I was like, why? Because it was funny. Like, because it was really funny. And like, that's the thing, is like these I haven't laughed at a movie in a very long time. Like, comedy's dead. Comedy's been
Yeah,
ruined
comedy's been dead for a while.
completely. And like, you like, cultural vandalism sometimes can be with a comedian I used to like, and you're like, ah, come on,
Like Patton
come,
Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt, dude. I My wife got me one year. It was before. Here's what I don't get. but it was like right before the election, and we used to like Jim Jeffries. Like I used to like Jim Jeffries. I thought
Yeah.
he was kind of funny, and then he turned into this total
A
wanker,
huge liberal
like the
cuck. Yeah.
worst,
Yeah.
the worst. And like you always find out that these guys are the worst degenerates. Like Louis C.K. And the fact that he's like back and like we're supposed to like whoa great,
Whoa,
he's
whoa,
gonna.
whoa. What did Louis C.K. do that was wrong?
He jerked off in front of aspiring comedians who thought they were coming up to get some advice and were hanging out with them because like I don't know, I
He asked if he could
asked
jerk
them
off in front of
permission
them,
if he could,
and they
and they
said
said okay.
no. No, they
Ah,
said no, and he
ah.
didn't then jerk off, and
He's such a
that's
sweetheart. He's such a
my
sweet.
problem with the canceling of Louis C.K. is that they made it out like he was just like,
Tab,
oh yeah, you get some, and you get some,
tab,
and you get some, but it was like completely
tab.
misinterpreted, and
Misinter. Do you mind if I actually do you mind? I'm just going to back up. Do you mind if I jerk off in front of? It's just like is it a problem if I jerk off in
yes,
front of you right
yes,
now?
Joel,
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
problem.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, at least we got that clear. I asked you like a
See?
gentleman.
That's the thing. It's like, yes, it's weird.
It's
but
fucked up. It's
sure,
fucked up.
sure, it's fucked up.
Super fucked up.
But it's not like a crime.
No, it's just creepy. That's all it is. I'm
Yeah,
not
well,
saying
that's
he needs
what
to go
I'm
to
tired
jail.
of in-
I'm not even saying he needs to like stop making comedy. I just lost respect for him. That's all.
Oh,
I
never respected him to begin
I can't
with.
separate it. I don't know, man. Guy made me laugh a few times. Like I mean, like there were definitely times where there was okay. I did the open mic thing for a while back in Vancouver. And I got to hang out with like a bunch of different comics. And, it was a decent enough scene that you could kind of, there'd be nights where you get to hang out. I'm not going to say who, but like, of Louis C.K. caliber, you get to like hang out with because they would like go and work on their craft. Like they'd come to the open mic and you'd be like, do you mind if I come and do like 10 minutes? Like, yeah, absolutely. Come, please do it. And you get to hang out with these people. And you realized afterwards, like the reason I stopped doing it wasn't because I wasn't funny. It was because I wasn't miserable. I wasn't a miserable human being. I had too good of a childhood. My parents loved me. Like that was the problem is like these people hate themselves so much. They hate themselves so very much. And you hang out with them afterwards and it's cutthroat. They want to destroy anybody who's like even remotely funnier than them. They'll steal jokes from each other. I had jokes stolen from me. It's like, it's a thing. And you realize like, this is like, it's that shattering of like your, image of these people. And you just realize like, it's a business. But like with like Louis C.K., it was like, dude, these were aspiring comics who wanted to like talk craft with you. And then you just kind of like, yeah, but I kind of want to jerk off in front of you. It's just like, if it's okay with you. And like, it's like, that's the weirdness of that scene. I'm not saying he should be in jail. Like you said, like he's not like nothing illegal happened. It's just like wrong. It's just, it's uncouth. It's just, but again, at the same time, you hang out with enough celebrity types and you realize like they're all degenerates. Like they're all degenerates. But do you have any other examples of cultural vandalism that you'd like to bring up? Or
I'd like to mention another movie that cannot be made today, and it's not because it's funny, but the movie Galaxy Quest with
love that movie.
Tim Allen, Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver.
Yes, fantastic.
That movie couldn't be made today, and not because it's funny, but because in that movie they revere and respect the fans. And I cannot imagine, like the fans are the heroes of that movie. They saved their asses at the end. And if that movie came out today, or if they remade that movie, the end would be like Tim Allen would learn that he needs to be
From
more in touch with his like
Sigourney Weaver.
femininity, and he'd come out on
Yeah.
the stage and he'd be like, I realized that my time in the 80s as an action star was really just me projecting my toxic masculinity, and
Yeah.
you guys are all toxic because you also revere this thing. And so there's a clinic that's been opened up in the parking lot for you all to get your dicks chopped off and start taking estrogen pills so you'll stop being pathetic cuck losers, and I'm going to choose to live the rest of my life as a gay man. And it would just be like completely devoid of any creativity
Of
or
course.
interest.
And humor. There'd be no
And
humor.
humor, yeah. And
Yeah.
that version is coming because Galaxy Quest is a good movie and thus must be destroyed.
Well, and that's the thing is like the humor now is all like that. Velma is the best example. That is a perfect
Another
example of
cultural
cultural vandalism. Perfect, because all it did was shit on the old show, shit on the fans, shit on everybody who even remotely likes it. And you're going, well, why is anybody watching it? There's no reason to watch it at this point. And like, same goes in like, okay, in sports, right? In sports, we get the cultural vandalism in sports. I watch sports. I know it's bread and circuses. I watch sports to escape. I liked hockey. I really like hockey. I bought my first item from the NHL store in a very long time. I was angry at the NHL for so many reasons. And I was angry at them because they were one of the first leagues to block the non-jabbed from entering the premises. They constantly put out like draw families and children out to pride parades and hand out rainbow swag to children who then watch a guy wearing like a cock sock right behind them, right? Like that's
Yeah.
their value system right there. But I bought a Dennis Provorov shirt. I don't know if you heard about this guy, but he plays for the Philadelphia Flyers. And basically, he's like, "Look, I'm Orthodox Christian," and they had their Pride night at the Flyers game, and they basically all the players had to go out in a rainbow jersey for warm up. And he said to his coach, "He's like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to support that. I don't hate gay people. I don't like the idea of supporting that symbol or that cause in terms of pride, in terms of like putting that message out." Ivan Provorov. Thank you very much, Stu. So I got this Philadelphia Flyers shirt with Provorov on the back because the guy stood his ground, and he went to his coach and he said to his coach, like, "I'm not going to do it." And he's like, the coach is like, "I respect that. All right, that's cool. Like, just you sit out and you can play in the game. It's fine." Right. And the media went berserk, absolutely berserk. And like
Bake the cake, bigot.
yeah, exactly. Bake the cake, wax the balls, like it's all there. Man, oh man. Can we get a win someday here? Like, I mean, it's really weird, like, to find anything of substance. What's the last new thing good that you could recommend for the last
John
little
Wick.
while? Like,
2016. John Wick came out. It's devoid of any politics or bullshit. It's just a guy killing a bunch of people that killed his dog.
okay. And I heard Top Gun Maverick was good. I didn't see it, but I've had a bunch of people tell me it was good. I just didn't feel like going because I didn't really like the first Top Gun.
Same. I don't like hate it, but I was just like, I saw it once and I was like, okay.
I'll tell you what I like better than Top Gun, and this is going to be a hot take. I like the NES video game of Top Gun, which everybody hates. That's what I like better than the movie Top Gun. I actually like the video game better. But
you guys, you and Tony should do a review of that game.
Try to land the plane. Yeah. That's the problem. So yeah, that's my issue for this week. I think we covered that one pretty good. I knew there was a lot of meat on the bone on that one, though.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the middle of our episode, which means it's time for...
This episode is brought to you in part by the Ricada News Network. Definitely not fake news.
Well, Joel, a couple weeks ago, I think it was actually the episode that I missed. You were talking about how people are getting, their brainwave fuckery. They're putting shit in your head.
Oh yeah.
Well, an Indiana man allegedly claims that a brain implant programmed him to beat his uncle to death with a hammer. A 39-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder for allegedly fatally beating his uncle with a hammer at their home last week. On February 16th, deputies from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department and Greenfield Police Department officers went to a residence on East US 40 and found 69-year-old Freddie Patterson deceased. deputies took Daniel Smith into custody on murder charge, and he's being held without bond. Court documents allege Smith's mother and Patterson's half sister found him downstairs with his face, quote, all smashed in after she heard a banging noise. Their mother reportedly saw blood and other brain matter on the floor around Patterson's body. Smith walked by his mother holding something, and she said she was unable to discern if it was Jello or blood with fruit in it.
Oh, jeez, man.
Yeah. According to court documents, Smith told investigators he was not really sure if Patterson was really Patterson, and allegedly made comments inferring that his uncle was in a cult. He also reported that he wasn't sure why he did it. Yeah,
Sounds like MK Ultra. or I was gonna make a Paul Pelosi joke in there somewhere, because like, I mean, the hammer thing came in, and like pretty soon, like if this was England, like, because they were already like banning, like, you know, tipped knives.
Hammers.
Yeah, they'll be banning hammers.
Well, you got a license for that hammer there?
Exactly. Ay. I don't even know where to go with that. I don't even know where to go with that. Like, so he said he had a chip implanted in his head to make him do this. You know what the sad part is? Like, we're living in a timeline where you're like, maybe. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. And maybe the cult put it in there. I don't know. Maybe he did. No, or he's just, you know,
Crazy.
Like, can we even say crazy anymore? Are we allowed to
Sure.
say crazy anymore? On this show we can. But like, I mean, like in the what is it, the APA or the Journal of Medicine, like the Americans, I think they probably have, like, you know, culturally vandalized the term crazy, because you can't use that no more.
You're not allowed to use the phrase drinking the Kool-Aid anymore because it's religiously intolerant.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that,
you're only allowed to
that
be
some
religiously
insane
intolerant
shit?
against Catholics. Yeah. So I would
everybody who was part of the whatever the cult was that drank the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones's cult.
Yeah,
they're all dead. None of them
yeah.
are going to get offended by you saying that they drank the Kool-Aid, because they're a bunch of fucking lunatics that drank cyanide at the behest of a crazy man.
In Guyana, I think it was too.
Guyana,
yeah, same continent. Well, it begs the question, like, when it comes to like the terminology and stuff like that. Like, I mean, are we going to be able to say, like, they probably are calling it like differently sane, you know, like alternatively sane. You know, it's like they're sane, but like in their own little way, you know, like their own. Everything is relative, Tab. Everything is relative. Nothing.
They're sanity deficient.
There we go. No. They're just other. This is going to be otherkin or something like that, I guess. But so what else do we got on the news docket here?
Well, here's one from my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. A man who ate at an Oklahoma Waffle House paid for his meal, tipped his waitress, and then robbed the store at gunpoint. Victor Don Juan. Victor Don Juan Medina was busted for the bizarre stick-up by Tulsa police just before 12 p.m. on Saturday when they spotted him running along a highway retaining wall. Medina allegedly pulled a gun on a Waffle House worker and demanded money from the cash register after he had gobbled up his meal and then ran. He's being held, facing charges of robbery with a firearm. A spokesperson for Waffle House. Just one man.
One man. He didn't have his honey bunny with him, because that sounds like you know, the restaurant hijacking is from Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah. A spokesperson for Waffle House told RNN that no employees were injured. We are grateful for the quick response of the local law enforcement team handling the case, which resulted in the arrest of the suspected perpetrator of this crime. That's some wild shit. I understand robbing a restaurant, right? I've wanted to rob
Waffle
a
House,
restaurant.
right?
Yeah. And
aren't they? Walk me through this, because I don't know if we had a Waffle House in Canada. I know we had like Smitty's and we had Phil's, and then we had then like towards the end we had a few IHOPs that kind of popped up. But I understand there's like a big gap between and we also had Denny's. there's like a big gap between IHOP and Waffle House. Which one's which? Like which one's the one that like has like, that cigarette smell in it? Is it the Waffle House? What?
IHOP is a restaurant that you walk into and there's a kitchen in the back.
Uh-huh.
Waffle House is a kitchen that you walk into and there's some seating adjacent to it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's like a diner, like a old-timey diner type thing.
There's
okay.
The back wall is just a griddle and cooking area.
Is it
then there's
good?
a counter, and then it's fucking great, man. There's nowhere better to eat at 4 a.m. when you're drunk off grass.
That sounds awesome.
That should be the advertisement.
Because down here, man, like waffles are like a luxury. Like you go to like a high-end restaurant, and they're like, "Whoa, they got waffles here." it's like not anywhere because guess what also is a luxury? Breakfast. Anyways,
because everyone's sleeping in from their bed.
No, they just don't eat. They don't eat breakfast here. That's just not a thing.
These are my people.
Yeah. Brunch is like we know like a small handful of places you go to brunch. And like a lot of times it's like you got to go to a hotel, like a hotel restaurant that serves these foreigner types, but like us. But yeah, no, that's not what we have. I'm loving all these opinions about breakfast over here. We got IHOP is garbage, Waffle House is goat, and Smitty's was in Canada too. Yeah, Smitty's is awesome. I like Smitty's. Smitty's was like my favorite. I never liked Denny's. I liked Smitty's, and Phil's was goat. Phil's Pancake House in Banff, especially. It was really great.
So I got this news story today. It was sent to me by Alex in Discord, and I was so captivated by it that most of the time I don't read the news stories before we do them. But I read this news story and I was like, holy shit. I tried to find more info, specifically the phone call involved. Okay. A 34-year-old Michigan man was reportedly arrested after calling police to report a prostitute he had paid $10 was refusing to honor their agreement. The unidentified solicitor called Saginaw, Michigan cops shortly before 8 a.m. Saturday to complain that the 24-year-old prostitute, who was present when the police arrived, had reneged on her alleged vow to perform a sex act of unspecified nature. Cops arrested the caller for accosting and solicitation. The woman he accused of breaching their contract was taken in on a prostitution charge. Both charges are misdemeanors, and they're out on bond. They were both out on bond related to home invasion charges. So like these two people are both home invaders. They tried to do a
$10 transaction.
Yeah, it's like what would you get for $10 from a prostitute?
A hug? Like a long hug. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a hug and I get to squeeze your butt during it.
Yes. Yes, but you're not allowed to pull in at the pelvis.
I really wanted to hear. I was like, please find this fucking 911 call. Someone has to have the audio of this fucking 911 call. Just be like, 911, what's your emergency? Like, I'm out here at the fucking Waffle House. I paid this bitch $10 for a hug for
a breach of contract.
And they're like, all right, sir, we're going to dispatch some people to you shortly. Please stand by. Like, you're damn right you're going to be dispatching some people.
This is some great use of resources. Oh, my goodness.
Like this, and then it doesn't get sent to like regular court. It gets sent to the people's court. It's like John suing Crystal for a broken contract.
She did not. She was supposed to hug me for 10 whole seconds, and she let go at 8. So I need $2 back.
Oh, man.
And she said she didn't have change, and that's a lie.
That's a lie. I saw her coin purse. There are lots of quarters in there. Fuck me, that's funny.
Was that it for our news? Or do we have more news?
You got your fish news.
I do have fish news. Yeah. We made our very first fish sale this week. And we were pretty hyped about this. Like, it was a big deal. we sometimes go on Saturdays to this other town that has like kind of like a flea markety type thing, and we used to buy this what we still do, buy this like incredible salmon spread, like that goes really good on toast, and we get it at at this restaurant that is owned by a Swiss guy and his wife, his Paraguayan wife. And one time we were in there, and the guy who actually makes the fish products was in there restocking the fridge, and he was just kind of this burly, like bohemian looking German guy, and he was just like rifling it in. And we made a little mental note, like, oh, we should talk to that guy sometime because he sells fish and we have fish. And so we saw this guy at this other flea market fest, like this market thing that we went to, and I showed him pictures of my fish because we had just gotten gotten the hang of getting more than just a few out at a time. Had a different net for it and stuff. And so we showed him this picture, and he's like, "Oh, great, we should stay in contact." And then I took his card, and later on, like we were kind of looking around, and we're like, "Oh, you know what? I think we're almost ready. Let's see, what this guy wants to do with us." And so I sent him a text, and he's like, "Okay, I want 50 kilograms of the fish, and I want it on Monday." We're like, it was like Saturday. We're like, okay. So we hired up some people, and I even had my son go in there and do some fishing with the net. He wanted to. And so we were trying to get the 50 kilograms, but the thing is that the guy, here we go. Yeah, we got some pictures from here. So this is some of the bigger ones that we had. And this is what I sent to the buyer later as we got it going. And we're like, yeah, so like, we're getting going. And he's like, and he'd already agreed. We had agreed on a price. And the word is entero, which means like the whole fish. Like, we're just going to gut the fish and then give you, we'll sell it to you like with the head and stuff. Cause like people, they put it into like soups and stuff. And like, we send him this thing, and we'd already agreed on the price, and he was coming over for 50 kilos, and he hits us back, and he's like, "Yeah, that's great. Now chop the heads off. I don't need them." And it's like, dude, see, cause like we had another price for filleted, right? And he's like, and it was like higher. And like, like once you take the heads off and stuff like that, now we're talking like different weights, and getting to that 50 kilograms was really tough. Like we didn't get there. We got to 15, and we're like, called it a day. We're like, you know what? I got 15 for you. He's like, okay, well, I'll come back in 2 weeks after. I'll get the 15 from you now, and I'll come back to you after. But this guy was like a total, like, he's all right. But like, it's like, I guess like we're all coming in from different backgrounds. Like, he's from Germany. We're operating in Paraguay. We're speaking to each other in Spanish. It's my first sale. He's been in business for like a year and a half. So that him and his wife come, and he brings like a bucket, and he's like, yeah, also fill this up with like some of the minnows. I want to try something out at my house. I'm like, you're gonna just fucking take my minnows?
No.
Like, no, that's not how this works, bro. Like, first of all, you screwed me hard on those heads. Like, you're getting the heads next time. You know what? You're getting the heads. You cut them off. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Entero means entero. But as you can see in the photo here, these are some beautiful, like, we already took the eyes out of them and stuff. I don't know why the guys like taking them eyes out, but they do. It packs better, I guess. But those are two of our things. Do you have any of the other photos? Those are two of the bigger ones that we got. So that's a pacu. That's actually not one of the tilapia. Those are like the vegetarian piranhas. He got thrown back into the pond right after that, but I figured I'd get a picture of him on the ground. It doesn't show you much. In front here is you can see the water tank that we cut off, and we were dumping the fish as we got them out into there for processing later. You got the two guys in the tank in the background, and there's the tank. There's a tank in front of us right there. So that took a long time. And there's my son. There's my son on the right, trying to do. He actually made his dad proud. I think he pulled about 2 or 3 big ones out. So he did help the cause. And he really has taken to this. So it's like, maybe this ends up being a family business that he ends up wanting to be a part of as we go. I was real proud of him. He had no fear going in there. Like, it's funny with kids, right? Like, they love grabbing animals, touching animals. Like, I'm not a big picking up animals guy. But like, my wife, even just this morning, she called him over. She's like, get in here. I need your help. And he comes and just a giant bullfrog, like that was found in like by the laundry room, and he's just all over it. So like I love that about kids. They just have that fearlessness. But I don't know. I thought I'd bring in. Oh, and yeah, this was the fruits of our labor here. This is my wife did an amazing tilapia roast in the oven roasted tilapia with some fantastic spices and stuff. And yeah, man, we are rocking it. But there's another thing. If you go ahead, yeah, this is more of the pulling of the fish out with the workers that we had. But did you get the squash photo downloaded or no?
I
Maybe not.
did.
Or the oranges. I'll just end with this. We have also a giant garden, and my wife, like, she planted what she could, and we planted these. There's certain things that grow a lot more than you're expecting, and one of them was like zucchini, and the zucchini started coming in, and we try to pull them off when they're about 2 kilos or like 4 or 5 pounds each. But there was this one that was hiding under the vines. And we pulled that thing off, and it was like over 10 kilos. It was like 24-pound zucchini. There it is. There it is, right there. I got it on the table. So we had our first bit of the there it is, right on the right here.
Yeah.
First bit of oranges coming in this year already, and that's our 23-pound zucchini in there. So yeah,
There it is.
for you guys just listening, yeah, we're giving a little bit of a slideshow. Maybe just go to YouTube and check it out.
Looks like a dong.
It does. I like how, like, I said to my wife, I'm like, this thing was growing and it just decided to make a U-turn. I don't know why. It just decided to make a giant U-turn on the ground. So it looks like it's like, looped around. But yeah, we've got the scale there to show how darn big this thing is. But yeah, man, that's the Chaco Farm Tales, fish tales from this week. We made our first sale, and the guy says to me when he gives me the money, he's like, "So you gonna frame that?" I'm like, No, I'm not. I made a loss. I've made a loss on this one so far, because I ended up having to pay some employees to come and help me in getting this thing out. We need to pull this stuff out to make up for all the food I've fed it for the year, but we now have a plan. And the best way for us to get the fish out, because we spent all day get 15 kilos up, we figured out the problem. It's too much water. So what we're going to do is we just pump the water out to get it down to like knee level, and then just scoop the bastards out, and then refill it back up again because I've got free water. We're like, why are we doing this way? Why haven't we been doing this since the beginning? So today was our first day of draining the one pool, and we will be scooping out a good chunk of them tomorrow to make our 50-kilo quota, as per, with the freaking heads on them, for our German buyer who I hope that everything goes well so we can keep selling as we go. But yeah, that's my fish news for this month. So yeah, man. So should we take care of a little bit of? I operated at a loss on my fish so far, but this show doesn't need to operate at a loss, and we'd like to maybe cover some of our bills, right? So that kind of would be a good thing to bring up at this point.
Sorry, this is.
This has been
the News Network. Definitely not fake news.
And speaking of paying the bills, you can visit us at patreon.com/HWIDG, subscribestar.com/HWIDG, and tip.hwidg.com, which stands for, I got to read.
Here's what I don't get.
Which is the name of the show. And over on Patreon, we have 5 tiers. We have the $1 tier, which gets early access to each week's episode, plus our monthly minisodes. We have our $2 tier, where we throw the random bits and bobs we do now and again. And actually, for the $1 tier, Tony and Buck did a minisode this weekend that I need to edit and get out. So we'll see how that turns out. We have our $5 tier, where we do our bonus episodes. Here's what I do get, where we drop the hate and talk about what's great. We have our $10 tier, where you, the fan, submit a film. You vote on what film we watch, and we watch and record a feature-length commentary. And then finally, we have our $50 Spite Producer tier, where you get a say in the show. You can ask for a special guest. You can ask for a format change, special bits for the show, anything that your heart desires that we can feasibly provide, we will do so. And we want to say thank you to all our patrons, big and small, because without you, we would not still be doing the show. So thank you to everyone who's supported the show over the years, and especially those that are supporting it right now.
Muchísimas gracias. And thanks forever. Now, I have to ask you, though, are we allowed to be Spike producers if we throw down? Or maybe if I got my wife to do it?
Probably.
All right.
There's really not any rules.
Okay. All right. That you've been warned.
But anyway, let's get back into some issues. And here's what I don't get. Mandatory workplace harassment training. So I got in this morning. I got an email like last month that was like, hey, starting February 15th, there's going to be mandatory office harassment training. And I was like, yes, I've just really been trying to up my harassment game. You know, people tell me that I'm harassing them, and I say, yo, harassment, nothing to me. I was hoping maybe get some more pointers and jokes. Turns out this is all about, like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, you're not supposed to slap female employees on the ass and say, like, hey, bitch, nice tits. Which
what year is this? Come on.
I know. When did that change? And so I fucking sat through. It took, since I have direct reports, I had to take the, like, manager level training, which is apparently
even
the
worse.
shorter version is like fewer videos. I had more videos of
because you have power.
Yeah. And I was just like, so it took forever. And what's funny is, so in my office, I'm sandwiched between two other people, right? Mm-hmm. And the walls are fucking paper thin. And so it's playing, and the person in the office next to me gets in, and she goes, oh, that thing is fucking awful. I finish it. I go downstairs. I'm talking to some of the guys I work with, and we're just like making fun of it nonstop. It taught me nothing because the situations
are so ridiculous.
They're so unbelievably over the top that it's not like any real discrimination that anyone will ever face.
No.
Of the whole fucking thing, there was one situation where the person problematic was not a man, and fortunately, and go ahead.
So basically, like, it is just like men are the worst, right? Like most of it,
pretty much.
Men are the worst. Yeah.
Almost all of them, the problematic factor was a man. I think there was one where it was a black man, and the rest it was all white men.
Just white guys. Yeah. The worst.
And the worst. So I Googled it. And I found one of the fucking videos from this training.
I hope you bring it in.
It's 2.5 minutes, and we'll just like watch it and commentate during this.
This will be our first time commentating on a video together, and we're gonna still have to do a movie soon. But yeah, I'm up for this. Let's dig in.
Which one's which? I think it's this one. Okay, so here it is.
Have you double-checked the delivery dates with the team?
They're absolutely 100% on the
So there's a white lady.
How much of a safety net
and
do
a
we
white
have?
guy.
2 weeks.
They're talking like at a business
Can we
meeting.
get any more time?
All pretty
Not
normal.
if you want to land
like
this deal. They're telling me they're drop dead.
This is a meeting that any one of us may have been in the past, right?
Then we better make it.
You know we will.
Okay. You know, he's
Great
confident.
job on this project.
She's
I mean,
complimentary.
you have really come into your own on this
So
proposal.
far.
Oh, I think she's flirting with him.
I got you a little something to celebrate.
Thank you.
Oh, she got it. She's getting him a gift. That seems like we're right. Maybe a little bit problematic, but you know, it might just be a
it's
nice
probably
watch,
something. Yeah.
Or a pen, like, hey, you're doing a great job. You know,
right.
It
better not be a hotel key.
Yeah. We've all been there, right? Like your boss, you know, they tell you you're doing a good job, they buy you lunch or something, but it's all above board.
And then a wrapped gift. Yeah, I guess.
And it's a wrapped gift, so
You can open it later.
But he can open it later.
You know, Scott
So,
has decided to promote someone into an account supervisor position, and I think you'd be great for the job.
He's
Really?
up for
Of
promotion.
course.
Is there anything I can do to help improve my chances? You know, I don't
Okay.
So wait, hang on. Whoa. Look at the look on her face too. She's like she is nonplussed. Like, give me that gift back now. Like, oh
Yeah. Anything I
Ooh.
can do to improve my chances.
Yeah, like
Here-
a foot rub or a
There-
$10 hug.
This is a conversation that has never happened in the history of time,
No.
right? Of you being like, oh, yeah, I'm up for promotion. Anything I can do to do my chances. Listen to this list of shit that he gives out.
Mine
Okay,
working
here we
extra
go.
hours.
And people are going to be
Okay.
like, why is he talking over all this? It's so that YouTube doesn't flag us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's fair.
Taking on more responsibility.
That's definitely something to think about.
I can even
Uh,
work weekends.
that
I think
and-
it'll help.
Ooh, okay. So,
Weekends
he's
could be
like,
nice.
Sure.
yeah, that'd be
Anything.
nice.
I
Weekends.
really want to
Yeah.
advance my career, and I love working here. I see my future.
It's
here.
starting to have some
So
overtone.
do I.
Yeah,
But it's
That's
not.
great.
Yeah, look at her. Look at him,
Well,
though. Yeah.
It's still not
You
problematic.
know,
Uh-oh.
I do
Wait a
have
minute.
some ideas.
I'm
Wait.
all ears.
Oh,
It like weirdly buffered.
wait a minute. Hang on. Oh, so you picked the female aggressor one. Oh, you saved us. You saved us the oddball out of the group.
Yeah, this
Here we
is
go.
the oddball one.
This is the oddball. This is,
Yeah.
and like she's also an attractive lady. And so we're supposed to.
No, Joel, I think the Paraguayan internet buffering is not letting you really see this woman.
I'm also wearing my sunglasses.
If we
But
go
she's
like,
she's what Larry would call a pointy. She got a pointy
oh
chin, pointy
no,
nose.
no.
Okay. All right, here we go.
She's old, which is one of the categories that
I'm
that
old!
you use to discriminate.
All right.
I hope that's not all you are.
Oh
Whoa,
no!
See,
whoa,
I was thinking of
what?
something that
Wait. Look at
It
that.
takes
She
like
is
a
really
huge fucking left
checking-
turn. It's just like
Oh
normal,
my
normal,
goodness.
normal. What the fuck is happening?
What is in that gift that she gave him for later? It probably is a hotel key. It probably is a hotel key with the number on it. She's checking to make sure he's got no stubble on his face. She's checking his shave.
Yeah,
He's not in the beard club.
he's not.
Oh dear.
you,
Oh, no.
me,
Oh.
little mutual
wait.
gratification.
Oh,
Mutual ratification.
You know, Scott really
He's-
values my opinion, and since this
pondering it.
position will be working directly under my
He
supervision,
wanted to work the extra hours
he's
on the
pretty much leaving the
weekend.
decision up to me.
now he's gonna be working him
So
Oh dear.
you're saying if
25 to
I-
life.
If I
we,
Oh.
well,
Sex.
whoa, what?
Whoa! Yeah,
Direct-
she's like, I want
Direct.
sex.
That's like, do I need to spell it out for you? Do I need
like-
to spell it out for you? And he's, oh boy, this poor fellow. He's gonna
It's
home
like
and
she-
have to shower after this.
2 innuendos, and then she's just like, "We're fucking.
Boom.
We are
Yeah.
fucking. You
Open
are
the
gonna.
package now.
You're gonna put your penis into my vagina, and we are going to fornicate until we both have orgasm."
Adultery. That's what we're talking about here.
Just like,
We are adulterers now.
and so this is a company that makes like training videos for corporations. That's all
dear.
they do, and they have to dumb them down to the, because I think that they think people taking this training are watching this and they're just like, what's she getting at? What's she trying to say, Joel?
We gotta get straight to the point here.
Man, what is it? Sex? This is inappropriate conduct.
I think having to work on weekends is inappropriate conduct.
Me
All right.
too. That's the
Yes.
harassment.
You're not going to
That's
make
the
me work on a
word.
Sunday. Whoa. Now she's looking down. No, okay. You're right. Yeah.
She
no.
wants that
I
dom.
didn't think you
no.
were such a prude.
I'm not. I just
Oh,
wasn't
approved.
expecting.
You know,
Oh my god.
This is-
I am
now I'm gonna sue
extremely
you.
comfortable with my sexuality, and I
Of course
thought
you
that
are.
would
You're
Yeah,
a you're a
you can
modern
tell.
woman who can have it all.
Okay
Who can
then.
have it all.
So, to be clear, if
To
we
be
have sex,
clear.
you'll recommend me for the promotion.
To
Only-
be clear,
only then.
because
Just to
this
re-
training hasn't like hammered it in quite enough yet.
Speak into my lapel over here a little bit closer. He's wearing a wire because she's been doing this for a long time.
That's
She's-
exactly
she's
what I
been-
was thinking.
She's
when
been
I was watching
motoring
this.
through. Yeah, she's been just butchering males left and right for all that man needs.
I thought that like this was gonna hit him where he was gonna be like, I'm
Yeah.
Chad Davis, HR secret security, and she's just like, oh no,
you just broke the law.
I've been quid pro quoing this whole time, like a fucking Law and Order special or something.
Oh man. Oh man. See, I know we'll go all the way through this because we have to. We just have
Yeah,
to see how this
we have to
ends.
find out what's in the package.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to understand.
Is it
Now
a
she's getting
dildo?
frustrated with
Is
them.
it hotel
Yeah,
keys?
You've definitely given
I-
me a lot to think about.
to think
Okay,
about.
wow.
Yeah. Oh, she's now getting frustrated.
Don't take too long to make up your mind.
Oof. What is in the package? Hotel key. Hotel key. See,
Oh,
or she's gonna
full of
fire him.
herself.
Yeah, she's confident in her sexuality.
We never
That's how it
find
ends?
out what's in the
Come
fucking
on!
package.
You can't
We
just leave
never
us like that.
find out.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I was astounded. I was like, what? There should have been a reveal where there's a hotel key in there, but no, it's just like, oh, it's over. I guess they left me wanting more. I want to take more workplace harassment training to see if I can find out what's going on in this
It's a
story.
sequel. Yeah, exactly. Why don't we find out what happens to her career? All this kind. Here's the thing. I think we brought this up before, but like, you've been sexually harassed at work before, right?
I was sexually harassed in school,
In school.
and everyone thought it was hilarious, Tim included.
It was one of those
Talked about it on-
nice, like like that South Park
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
In
In school, that's too young. That's
that is very too young.
That's
yeah.
way too young. That's
Not by a teacher, it was by another student. It was senior year in high school, but it's still
okay, but bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so my problem with this, and there's an article that was about how all these trainings do is they're like a CYA for your corporation. Be like, we did the mandatory harassment training. Boop.
Pretty much.
And so now if there's ever a question of, did I harass or did I not harass,
You can't be
we
liable.
can say we made you watch an hour of cartoonishly evil villain videos, not realizing so part of it is like the first video was about like this guy and this lady are talking at a gala, and then another person walks up and it turns out that person's transgendered, and like having a normal conversation, they turn to the transgender person, he's just like, what are you, a man? What do you got, a dong under there? And it's just like the most cartoonishly harassing thing ever. And it's like, that's not what happens in the workplace.
No.
Discrimination is not people being like, yeah, I'm sure that kind of stuff does happen from time to time that we watch, but it's things like, so I worked at a stagehand my entire life, right? And if it was you and me and a woman standing in a group and they needed someone to go lift a heavy thing, do you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, Tab, Chaco,
Joel,
go carry that big heavy thing.
Off you go. There's not even a question about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, but I got a back issue.
Yeah. Tim Truckin' and Tuckin' and I used to work for this company, and the daughter of the owners would frequently request us to move things with our, quote, man muscles.
Oh, I hate that. That's the worst. Yeah.
And not female employees, because they're female employees, but that's totally okay because you guys are men and you shouldn't have feelings.
Muscles. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and if you complain, that's the point. Okay. So like, I will quickly address the cartoonishness of it. Back in a past life, one of the worst jobs I ever had was working for City Financial, which was like a division of Citibank, which gave ridiculously high interest loans to people who had gotten like store credit cards that were about to run out. So we had to call them and get them, like try to flip them into another loan that was like, still like around like 28-35%, like just absurdly high. The worst job. I hated that job. Who I also got sexually harassed by the boss of that job. It's not an entertainingly enough story to bring up. I will bring up some of the other sexual harassments that actually happened, what it actually looks like. But we had to watch a video on racism in terms of giving out loans. And in the video that we watched, it was like stupidly comical in terms of like, like this happy, well dappered black couple coming in, and they were trying to get a loan, and like the guy working behind the desk
was wearing a fucking Klan hood.
Pretty much.
He was like, "You N-words, get out of my fucking bank!" And you're just like, "Wow, that's unacceptable."
I won't do that. No, it was like, I'm afraid we just don't have a product for you. But you haven't even punched in our our information yet. Well, I see, it's just, and there was another one where it was like a Muslim couple coming to the thing, and the guy was like sprinting for the door to like lock it and be like, sorry, we're closed. Like it was like,
my name's so Robbie ridiculous. Racist, and I am.
It was like John Rocker. It's just like, it's just ridiculous. And I remember watching it. We were howling at this thing. And like our lady boss who had, who called upon us for man muscles all the time. She was like upset that we were laughing at this because it was ridiculously comical. There was not a single ounce of anything in there that would have been applicable to how we did business. Like it just didn't work out that way. But
there's all these stats that are like the EEOC, which I don't remember what the thing is, what that stands for, but it's the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, EOEC. Yeah. They're like,
sounds like a grift.
We received 7,500 complaints of workplace harassment and discrimination in
2013
or 2019 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, but there was settlements of $40.6 million. And it's like, okay, how many of those resulted in those settlements and how many were just like, my boss is not nice to me and I think they should be? Because the problem is that what's happened is it gets so vague. They make it such a grand categories of things of like, it could be considered harassment if we had a third person in this room and they don't like the conversation that we're having. Like, well, fucking leave.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it really looks like. So I had a job where, I don't know, most major cities have this, where they have those annoying people that stand outside with like the clipboards and like the vests, and they sign people up for charities for like monthly donations. And the one in Vancouver was run by 3 gay guys, and they were the heads. They owned it. They ran the business across the country, but like they were woefully inappropriate all the time.
Yeah.
And they would come into the office because we'd be running things and like actually like doing our jobs. And every time they'd come in, we'd have the one main manager guy, also gay, who would just like kiss their ass so bad. And like, I don't put off that vibe. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm kind of masculine. And I remember because I got promoted to like a program manager at this thing. So I had like a staff beneath me and all this kind of stuff. But like we would have to go and report to these 3 assholes for like our numbers and stuff like that and bringing stuff up. And I'll never forget it. The one guy just casually he's like a total gay hippie. And he like takes this gross Birkenstock feet and puts them onto like the table. And he's like, hey, Chaco, before this meeting's over, tell us about your sex life. How's your sex life going? And I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to talk about my sex life. It's like, oh, come on. We all are all open here. I mean, like we don't know enough about you, and we just promoted you to this position. I mean, how are we supposed to know who we put in position of these things if we don't know anything about your sex life? And I was like, you're still not going to know anything about my sex life. Can I leave? Only after you've told us about your sex life. And I was like, that's and like I quit like a week later. Like it took me a little bit of time, but I was like, this is not good. This is not good at all. And like, I mean, the weird part is like, to who do you go? To whom do you go? There was like, does HR give a shit? They're not going to believe you. Not at this place. They're not going to believe you. And then on top of it, this was a kind of an office. So like I got this job and I was in there and I was like, I would have to like punch in a bunch of numbers afterwards and make my schedules and fit everybody around and do all this kind of stuff. And I'll never forget it, man. Like, it was one of those like hip, young, offices where everybody was like, like super lefty. And I was like the libertarian. So I stuck out, but oh, well, we'll all smoke pot together. That's fine. I mean, we're all on the same team for that. But like, I was like dating Mrs. Chaco at the time. And everybody knew that. Everybody met her. She'd been to like staff parties and stuff. But like, there was this one gal who worked with us, and she like thought it was appropriate while I was doing this thing to like come and try to sit on my lap while I was like doing the thing and like lean back. And it's like, no, no. right? And like, this is the thing that bugged me about. I pushed her off. I was like, you don't do that. You're not going to do that again. That's just not going to happen. And like, what bugged me is like the guys who asked me about my sex life, they knew about, because I came to them after, like, this chick has tried to do this like 2-3 times. You need to get a handle on this. Or else I'm going to make a big scene. Right. And they knew I was above that. And they still did this sex life shit anyway. And it's like, that's what real sexual harassment looks like. That's what real sexual harassment looks like. Because you feel
hostile work environment.
You feel fucking gross. Like, you feel disgusting. And so like that was what happened. And it was like it was not a good scene. I look, man, I love my job now because I work at home. I don't have to deal with any of those kind of things.
Get sexually harassed by your assistant all the time.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, yeah, man. Like, and like, what bugs me about those things too is, again, all of those are straight white males, except for the video you just showed us. That's a rare Pepe right there. And
here's this one. This
oh, we got another one.
I need to. This shit.
This
one is a lot more normal. So
okay,
this guy
we're not
wants
gonna
to
get
get with this
bowed.
girl.
Okay,
Plans this weekend?
No, nothing.
Trying to ask her
special.
out.
How about you,
Well, that all depends on your answer.
Zach?
Oh, come on. You act like you're not into me, but we both know better. We can go to dinner. I know a great spot right on the
It's not-
water.
I really need to get this ready for the
And
meeting.
here's the hero of our story.
of course.
Oh,
Are you serious?
You want this
what?
empty coffee jug?
Zach?
You want this empty coffee jug?
One of the most important ways that members
Oh my god!
Oh wait, we got a voiceover on this one.
No, so we won't watch this whole one because it takes too fucking long.
Just look at
But-
the guy's face in the background. Describe to the okay, because people are just listening. There's going to be a whole bunch of people just listening.
So
Behind him,
there's like a 7-foot tall dude in a turban, and he has a look on his face. The fact that like these are all the worst actors you've ever seen.
Oh, totally.
And he has a look on his face like it's not shock or disappointment, which is what you would think when you see a person childishly holding something away from another human being. And but he's just kind of looking there. Well, it has this dumb deer in the headlights look at the back of this dude's head. So the whole rest of this video is just like option 1, guy in the turban intervenes directly, and he's like, "Hey, white guy, you stop doing that." And the white guy's like, "I guess I will." And then like everyone lives happily ever after. Where it's like, or you can go these indirect routes, and it's just like Twilight Zone alternate ending after Twilight Zone alternate ending for 6 minutes, and you're just like, "Yeah, I got it." You don't have to, create an altercation. You can just end it. But like.
that guy had no game.
That's the thing. That's the typical video. The typical video is the white guy, and it's that same guy in a bunch of the videos. And then there's a bald guy who I think was in an episode of Seinfeld, who was in a couple of them. And I spent a lot of the training trying to figure out who the fuck that guy was. And so one thing that's frustrating for me with this harassment deal, right, is they have the categories. It's like race, religion, what is it? It's race, religion, age, disability, those kinds of things, sexuality, and like sexuality includes gender identity and whether or not you're transgender, and it can be like genetic material you have in you. Age, though, it's discrimination if you discriminate against an old person. But if you're the new guy, the young guy in the department, and they call you kid, that's totally fine.
no problem.
If they tell
No
you
problem.
when you get talked to condescendingly by someone because they look at you and go like, "What are you, 30 and you run this venue?" You can't possibly do that. Totally
No.
fine. You're not over 40. Religion, I get. But what's not on there that should be, in my opinion, is political belief.
Yeah.
Because it's totally okay to create a hostile work environment or a hostile industry like theater against people who believe different political beliefs than you do. But and you can like people will get into these awful discussions about politics in the office, regardless of being left or right. Just a thing like Thanksgiving dinner shouldn't be discussed in the workplace. It's not conducive to the work environment, but it's not in there as a discrimination thing because they don't want to get nailed for discriminating against conservatives because that's what they want to
Right.
do. They put and they say, well, these are things that are you shouldn't be discriminated for some things that are inherent to you.
Mhm.
Politics is a choice, but religion's also a choice. Regardless of if it's the one true way or anything like that, you choose your religion. You grow up and you embrace
Yeah.
it. You leave it and
Well,
come
that's-
back to it. You
Yeah.
grow up in one church and go to another.
Look, faith implies a will, right? So faith
Yeah.
implies a will. Okay, so yeah, I get that. But like, yeah, your point about the politics. I mentioned earlier that I bought a something from the NHL store, and it was the first time I'd done it in a long time. But I'll never forget. I went. The Calgary Flames were my favorite team, and they had this chain of stores called the Fanatic.
Fanatic, yeah.
Yeah, Fanatic. And
We've
so we
had
go to
we
the
have them down here.
so I went to this Calgary Flames Fanatic, and I'm buying a jersey for my dad for his birthday. And while I'm there, the TV's on, and Trump had just been elected. And it was, I think it was around like inauguration or something along. It was no, it would have been like it was like a year later, but not even. It was like in April. So like, the TV's on, and it wasn't even Trump. It was Newt Gingrich. It was not even Trump. It was Newt Gingrich talking, and the girl behind the counter just looks up at the TV, the employee, and is like, and turns to her other coworker and is like, "Oh, I hate Donald fucking Trump so bad. I wish somebody would kill him. I wish somebody would murder him and shoot him right now on that stage." And I was like, first of all, it's not even Donald Trump. So you're just like all white, like old white guys look the same to you. Secondly, I'm right in front of you. You don't know anything about me. I'm trying to buy stuff from this store, and you're saying this. That's woefully inappropriate. You're talking about assassination, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about something that's completely and totally inappropriate at the store. So I like took it upon myself. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna contact the Calgary Flames and like their merchandise, and like they need to know this. This is not okay, right? I'm
And
not
they
trying
were
to
like,
cancel things, but like this is
We
bullshit.
also hate Donald Trump. Fuck you.
The guy's like, thanks for bringing it to my attention. That's it. Like you're not gonna nothing. Like you're not. No, not really. Like not even an apology. Like not like sorry you had to hear that or no.
Not even
nothing.
a fake apology to keep you as a customer. To just be
No,
like,
they
"Oh,
don't. They
I'm
don't give a
sorry."
shit. They
No,
don't. I've supported the team for years, decades. I would go when the team was garbage. I wrote about the team. I've been paid to write about the team. I have done so much to support the team, and that's not the reason I gave up on them completely. But that was real close. That was real
Yeah.
close. And but
To
like
visit
that kind of
another-
garbage.
Another NHL example that Ivan Provorov, it's kind of a
Oh, yeah.
hostile work environment when they're like, hey, you have to wear this symbol that you disagree with. Like,
Yeah.
people want to make it out where he's the devil and he's the discriminatory one.
People wanted
But-
him out of the league and like be fined like $5 million for
And
hate.
it's- For hate. And it's just like,
Yeah.
well, that is that person's religion, which according to everything that I'm seeing. So like there are rules, but it's kind of they're soft rules. They're not really rules. They're not rules. They're not enough of them to really
In a court of
create
law,
a work
it'd be-
environment that is purely conducive for work.
right?
But they're vague enough to like say, oh, Tab, you posted this thing on Facebook about how you don't agree with gays in the military, and Brenda didn't like that. She feels like you're creating a hostile work environment. It's like, well, Brenda, stop fucking following me on Facebook. How about that? How fucking easy is that? But we don't live in that world anymore. There always has to be a daddy government, a daddy business, a daddy internet provider that we can go to and be like, you need to destroy this person that thinks things different than me.
Well, it's like the BLM kneeling. right? Like I used to watch football, and then that shit was happening. I was like, football sucks. Like I'm not going to watch football anymore. This is garbage, because it got political and it was all about kneeling, and it was all, and then like take the time. They take the time to like stop the games. Like the British footballers, it didn't even happen in your country, and you're still kneeling. You're still taking a knee for this thing, and it's just ridiculous. It's just faith implies a will. Anyways, this is the thing, man. Like it's so political, and it's all one-sided. It's 100% one-sided. Dude, they're not even singing your regular national anthem anymore. You got the black national anthem is the national anthem of football games.
My preference would just be to not have the national anthem be played on television, because it sucks. It's not a good song. Yeah. And so this.
Oh, speaking of national anthems and speaking of cultural vandalism, Justin Trudeau, when he got in, he changed the Canadian national anthem, because it was like our son's command, right? On our son's command. It was talking about the sons you sent off to war. But now it's like on all of our command. It doesn't mean the same thing. It means different. It's just, anyways, sorry.
Yeah. I don't feel like these trainings are helpful in any way, because they don't actually give you tools for helping in those types of situations, and they don't actually discourage people from the train of thought that leads to workplace harassment and discrimination. All they do is let your big corporation cover their ass. It makes people like the people that make these videos a lot of money, because they charge corporations a shitload of money to, like, they shit this video out in 2020. The copyrights say right at the bottom of it. The email that I got was like new revised harassment training, because I took fucking harassment training when I started the fucking job in June. So I took it in June, and then I fucking took this one again. I had to take a fucking harassment training to take the glass blowing class that I'm taking across the river. And it's just like, I had to fucking take Title IX training every fucking year in college. I fucking know. Everyone fucking knows these days.
But it's all demoralization.
2023. Yeah.
It's just demoralizing. It's make you feel like crap all the time. And so you don't do anything. You feel powerless, and you feel like you can't do a thing to stop it.
Why are men all single and alone and incels and MGTOWs and all these people like Jordan Peterson are popular? It's because we've been taught that we can't fucking talk to a woman in the workplace, which is where a lot of people meet their fucking spouses. You can't fucking talk to a girl in college anymore, because if you fucking don't do 100 million right things, like, they don't have trainings to be like, hey, ladies, men are awkward around you. They get nervous. They think you're real pretty. Maybe you should cut them some fucking slack. Here's some percentages on men's height and women's height. Here's some percentages on the earnings of people. Oh, you won't date a man that's under 6 foot tall and you're 5'1"? That's totally fucking okay. You won't date a woman that's over 150 pounds? What's your fucking deal then? Yeah. Like, these are the double standards we have in the world, and you can't like point those out, or everything will be a fucking problem. And so here we are, a bunch of cucks to a system that does not give a single fuck about us, makes us sit through hours of these kinds of things just so they can be like, we did it, and then avoid a lawsuit later on down the line, because, well, if he harassed you, it's not because we didn't do anything about it. It's because it's his fucking fault. We're not paying a fucking dime. And
he's
then
differently
these
sane.
These companies come out and they go, well, if it's been proven, if you do our training, you're much less likely to face a big settlement in a lawsuit. So you pay us $120,000 a year for our revised harassment training that we filmed fucking 3 years ago, and you just make your employees sit through it. They'll sit through it while they fuck around on their phones or do literally anything else. And once they're fucking done with it, then everyone goes like, check mark, checked it off. Here we go. We're all good to go. Don't get out there and do some real harassing. Don't tell any fucking jokes. Don't have a fucking personality. These will be all too cartoonishly to be applicable to fucking anything. And the rules, they don't even fucking matter, because they're being enforced by petty, worthless tyrants who just sit on their little fucking high horse and pass judgment and go, it's like that fucking cartoon. The handsome guy asked the woman out to dinner. Ooh, yes, I'd love to. The fat, ugly guy asked her out to dinner, and she's like, hello, HR? Yeah. That's where we are.
Well, and also, like, we've missed a category. We're going to see a lot more harassment towards the unvaccinated and those who don't want to wear PPE, like masks and stuff like that. We went through that happened, right? Like, I mean, my sister, by the way, I'm going to give a birthday shout out to my sister. She turned the big 4-0 today, and she might be watching. We'll see. She had to endure quite a bit at her workplace. She was the last holdout. They tried to get her to get the vaccine so bad. She had people that wouldn't even talk to her at work. Then all of a sudden they made it so she couldn't even work from the office. She had to work from home, which she was fine with. But at the same time, she in her job had to like deliver documents. She had to go there, and they wouldn't even let her in the building. They would take it from her, and then all of a sudden it went away, and everybody's pretending that nothing happened. And it's like, yeah, it's insane. All the other ones
now
either
it's trending
got
on
fired
Twitter
or quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
now it's trending on Twitter. The mask did nothing. So what we were saying fucking 3 years ago, completely unacceptable. Now the gospel truth.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like you don't need to be Nostradamus. Like it's not that hard to see what's happening here. And you just read the signs. You go, look, man, like this was rushed. Nothing's been rushed this way. Nobody ever had to wear a mask before. We used to laugh at the Asian people that would wear all the time. We're like, oh, they must be sick. And I guess don't go around them. They're sick. If you're sick, but not like if you're not sick, that's ridiculous. But like, oh, but we don't know how it spreads, and we don't know. You don't know how it spreads. Virus. Yeah, exactly.
It's like this could be the Andromeda strain. It could not follow any of the normal ways that life has existed for.
Can we get that now?
Years.
I want the Andromeda strain. Can we do this now? Is this time?
Wipe us out, man.
Oh my goodness. Anyways,
well, this has been. Here's what I don't get. I'm Tad Burt.
I'm El Chaco.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Ciao, ciao.
If you want to call into the Here's What I Don't Get hotline, call us at 704-750-9434 and tell us what you don't get. Or you can visit us in the Discord under the voicemail upload channel. I've got one here in voicemail upload that's specifically for you, Joel, from a friend of the show.
Sage?
No, it's not Sage. It's AGSSYZ, which I found out is from, it was from FF1, FF0, some racing game on PlayStation.
Okay.
Hey, Joel. I hated your HWIDG about brainwashing. You sound like my mom, who's been saying that the rapture is going to happen soon ever since Obama got elected in 2008. So I got 3 questions for you. Do you believe, 1, the rapture is coming?
No, I don't. No.
2, nothing can happen that's outside of God's plan.
Nothing. Do I believe that nothing can happen outside of God's plan? No, I'm not a Calvinist. I believe in free will.
Okay.
3, God protects his flock. If your answer was yes to all 3, stop worrying about it because
Do you believe that God protects his flock?
Well, yeah. I mean, no. God wills for you the best things for you because he loves you because he's awesome. So when it comes to does he protect his flock? Yeah, but he also lets us like, dude, I'm a Catholic. Like we had martyrs, like people died for their faith. Like, so, like when it comes to like thinking about what's going to happen to people, I'm not like one of these people who's like, I don't need to wear a seatbelt because God loves me and he's not going to let me crash. Like, I'm not like that at all. Like I do believe in free will. And I think that I think your actions matter. And I think that works matter. That's going to piss off some Protestants, but I do. I think that I believe that there are some prophecies, but I think that a lot of them are conditional and things can change. And this guy doesn't sound like he believes in the Bible or in God, or maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But, we have tales in the Bible like Nineveh, where Jonah was given a message from God to go and pass along a warning to the people of Nineveh to, get their shit together. And they listened and he said, like, if you don't, you're going to get smited. You're going to get wiped out. And so they got their shit together and they didn't get smited. So, no, first off, I don't believe in the rapture. That's not a Catholic belief at all. and I do believe in free will. So I hope I've answered all three of your questions. But if you're upset about what was upsetting about him to him, was it the brain?
No,
the brain
he's got to
stuff?
sign off. He's got to sign off.
Okay.
Worrying about it because everything is going according to God's plan. Thank you.
So stop worrying about it because everything's going to God's plan. So,
Well, I mean, define worry. Like I'm allowed to opine that something's going to suck and is not going to be fun, is not going to go through. But like the brainwave stuff, like, dude, I was just reading about today. I was reading about how like the Meta guys are saying like they believe the VR headsets and stuff are going to be more popular than cell phones, like smartphones, by 2027. And I'm like, no, it's not. There's no way.
No.
But like, because you're like, I'm in Paraguay. There's people here with like old Blackberries. Like that's as good as a smartphone as they get. And like, you're saying that it's going to be more popular. Like we're going to have like 10 billion or 4 billion VR headsets out there in the world. Like it's not going to happen. But like when you bring up these things, like I'm also not like a fatalist that believes like, well, we shouldn't do anything. I mean, it's like just sit back and this guy sounds like a Calvinist. It's just like doesn't believe in free will or anything like that. So yeah, no, I disagree. Do we have more voicemails?
yeah, we do. This one's from Player 4.
What's up, Tab and co-host? This is Player 4 here. I'm just calling to comment on the state of the show. I really like the mix of co-hosts you got. You got Tab, well, you're not the co-host, you're the host, but you got Chaco. You guys talk about like religion, philosophy, morality. Those episodes are always really interesting. You got Buck, which are my favorite. The working man's co-host. You guys talk about problems you have at work. And I don't know, I just like hearing you guys bitch. You guys just seem to love to bitch to each other. So it's great. And then you got Tim, where you guys talk about media, and you got Tony. You guys talk about media? I think it's time you ask Tony. I think he's not working. And I think you have a perfect replacement, or a perfect style of replacement. Instead of having two media co-hosts, what if you had a racist co-host, and you guys could just talk about, black people and Jews and Middle Easterns and Mexicans? You could pick like Carl from Who Are These Podcasts or Anthony Cumia or something. I don't know. Just get a racist on the show. All right. Call me back, Nick.
Did he just give us the N-word pass?
So Tim and I also talk about like theater and production. I think that's true. That's the big difference.
Yes. And like, the other thing is that Tim and you, like, it's like long-term buddies. You know what I mean? Like,
we've been friends for 20 years.
Yeah. That's like
15, almost 20 years. Yeah.
That's like a whole other thing. Yeah. Whereas, what I like about Tony, I'm gonna back up Tony here and put him over. What I like about Tony is like, I love that, like, that one of us has something to lose. like that he has to like disavow and do that stuff always is great. And like, he also has this like sort of like not a victim personality, but like, just the idea that people bring up about the stuff about like, the eyeball stuff and all this kind of stuff. Like, he has like a completely different vibe than the rest of us. So I disagree. I also really like the Tony episodes, even though like we're very different episodes, like this guy is pointing out. But yeah, man, I gotta say, I think the mix is great, and I think he nailed it for the most part there. Wait, hold on. If we're gonna bring on a racist host, could we just get Claude Adams in now? I guess that would be
I don't know who that is.
Scott Adams. The Dilbert cartoonist.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can bring in Ye for an episode or two. We'll see. We need some people of color here.
I think what maybe we haven't considered is, what if I am just the racist co-host?
Well, I wasn't going to say it. Signal.
Here's
Anyways.
Hey, this goes to the pizza manager dude. Pro tip, when you leave a voicemail, you need to talk into the microphone. Trust me, I have about 5 years worth of autistic voicemails where you can hear me on the phone. Right? So that's why, either people love me or hate me, right? Because you can hear me. I'm not going like this or talking away on the phone and getting bad at nothing. I'm yelling on the phone the entire time. I appreciate it, and staged, I am not that autistic.
I used to like when we were going over like comics we used to like Bill Burr was one that I used to like and I can't stand now. But
I don't know
like
that I can't stand him anymore, but I do like
his comedy's fine. His podcast
personality is
unlistenable.
awful,
Yeah, he's just completely unlistenable.
Okay, I completely agree with you on that then.
Yeah, but like I will play into this. I love when he plays, like he's got good microphone skills in terms of like he'll talk into it, but then he'll like to add a punchline thing. He'll duck off into the corner, like, and then come back to it. Like I love that. I did like that. That was always something that I always liked. Like even when I think one of his sponsors was always ZipRecruiter, and he'd be like, you go to Zip. And then come back to it again. And like, that was his like the little catch thing. The only way to make a stupid website about how to like find employees funny. So, yeah. Is this close enough?
Like a lot of, there must be a lot of HR people that listen to podcasts because they have nothing better to do with their work day.
Well, the white guys aren't sexually harassing enough, and the women aren't asking their employees to fuck.
I'm talking about sex.
I
know
with you and doing this thing right here.
That's the way that shit ended. Like, oh no, Carol, I know you're talking about sex. I'm not that autistic. Oh, we got two more.
Yeah, here's what I don't get. People who are able to rewatch TV shows, like, just over and over and over, mainly like people like The Office. Like, I have a couple of them, like maybe That 70s Show or House, but I maybe did it once, but it's just, I don't know if it's just my fucking autism, but just rewatching something, it's like you get those like little memories of like, oh, I think I remember what's happens next, and then happens, and it's like I kind of remember it. It's just so fucking frustrating for whatever reason. I have to have something fucking brand new to watch, because otherwise, yeah, I get in that loop of like, oh, I know it's gonna come next, and then then it happens, and it's just like I just don't fucking get it.
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah, because you love rewatching old shows.
I pretty much only rewatch old shows. Like I play a game where I see how long it takes me to name either the title or a plot summary of an episode of Star Trek, and I'm really fucking good. Like I'm gonna say I'm in a league of my own, but I'm the only person that's playing this game. But like
no,
that's why I love Plex, because like I will just if I'm I hate that decision fatigue of I want to watch something. I've got like half an hour. I've got an hour or two.
I'm still going to share my Plex with you.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch this thing. What I end up doing more times than anything is I'll just go into Seinfeld or MASH, and I'll go to the shuffle function, and I'll just hit shuffle. Play me a random episode. I'm guaranteed to enjoy it, even though I probably know the jokes. But I can like watch it, and I can have a little chuckle, and I can kill 20 or 30 minutes, and then it's like, all right, now I need to go to work, or now I need to go to like this thing that I was going to go do, or now I need to get back to cleaning the house. Like they're like the half-hour sitcoms perfect.
Yes.
For that like little bit of downtime, but not too much, not like a 1 hour show or a whole movie. But it's also the shuffle, the ability to not just be like one episode after another, kind of like mixes up in your brain to be able to enjoy things.
It reenacts like when you used to have like television and just like, like, and then just like, oh, Cheers is on. Which one is it? Oh, great. It's the, Eddie guys, episode or whatever. Yeah, I feel you. There's only a tiny amount of shows that I rewatch. One that we kind of revisit often like every few years we come back to it as we watch not all of Arrested Development, but the first three seasons of it. Yeah, the first 3 seasons of it. I'll give a little bit of time to the fourth. The fourth was like artsy and different. They did what they could with it, but like the first 2 seasons are great. The third season's like it's good. I used to really like the British Office. I used to watch that one a lot, but now I can't really enjoy it as much as I used to. I mean, maybe just because depressing comedy doesn't do it for me anymore. I used to like The Simpsons for rewatchability, at least the first like 8 seasons, maybe. We used to have a bunch of the DVDs of those, but we just kind of got over it. Let's see, Police Squad. That's a really good show to rewatch.
Never watched it, but yeah, I should put that on my search.
It's on my Plex. I'll let you on.
Here's the thing, though. We'll have to talk about that after the show.
Sure,
because I've been having some Plex issues we should talk about. So,
all right.
I've got one more voicemail here. It's I believe it's from Andy.
It's 5 a.m. and I'm editing a picture of a Shaolin monk to make it look like he's
I'm gonna run to the
headbutting
bathroom.
a small child. Earlier,
What did I do to deserve this?
With the subject line, "Go fuck yourself." It's from someone who just read my website for the first time. The sender goes on to call me a pathetic virgin and a homo. He ends the email by saying that he prays that I get cancer. My name is Maddox, and I'm the author of the website, The Best Page in the Universe. My site started out as my personal homepage back in 1997. And since then, it has amassed a following.
Guys, I don't have a stop button.
Word of mouth alone.
And he's gone.
Ever wonder where all those email forwards that your friends sent you come from? Me neither. Nevertheless, some of the content comes from me. I don't send the emails to you, but my material gets passed around anyway until several months later someone will forward a copy of my own work back to me, telling me to check out what this asshole wrote. It's flattering at first, until someone accuses me of plagiarizing myself. One thing that separates my site from the majority of others is that I don't have advertisements, pop-ups, epileptic spasm banners, or any other obnoxious bullshit that makes the internet unbearable.
He's
not having advertisements.
He's like his version of Mad Cucks,
because
he's like pretending to be Maddox.
It comes at a tremendous cost to me. I'm giving up $12,000 a month to bring my site to the masses. Censorship and annoyance free.
It sounds
not
like he's
only
reading
that,
a Maddox article, maybe.
but the bandwidth it takes to host my site costs
straight
more
up
than
reading
most
it.
people's mortgage payments.
I remember that.
So after running the site for free all these years, you're probably wondering why I'm publishing a book now. Simple. Money. I want as much money as possible. I want to go to exclusive Hollywood parties where I'll feel his using the word amazing as a noun.
This is his announcement of the alphabet of mainland. It says
yes.
Yeah.
I want to be so rich that instead of having my henchmen kill people, I can do it myself in broad daylight in front of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court while I download music illegally from the internet. Also, not having to eat ramen soup ever again would be nice. The other question you're probably wondering is, what does Maddox know about manliness? To answer your question, I would refer you to the hair of my younger. And if that weren't enough, I'd tell you the hair of my back. I don't wear a shirt to work for an entire month.
I love the $12,000 mortgage payment comment.
What a moron.
Yeah. Bags of sand.
Thank you, Andy. I had to. We need more people to rewatching old shows so they stop remaking them.
Yes.
The thing about the rewatch too is that like, I know I'm not gonna watch an episode of Seinfeld and they're gonna be like, oh, and you know how the income gap is a big problem.
No, but that's the thing is we could be politically incorrect. You could point out those ironies. You could be funny. Like, I mean, don't they have like disclaimers in front of like Friends now and stuff like that?
Oh,
Like,
they got disclaimers in front of everything anymore. If they're not just like they just remove episode. That's the problem with the persistent now that we live in, is that they'll just take an episode of a
Ministry
show
of Truth gone.
out of off of Netflix or Amazon or whatever. They're just like, yeah, this episode's only this season's only 23 episodes, not 24. And it's like,
Doesn't it
well,
make you want to like go find that episode more though? Like,
well, no, that's why I believe now that torrenting is a moral imperative. Like, it is absolutely a requirement if you love a product to own it in a way that can be shared with people and that you can like always protect. So yeah, having a Blu-ray or DVD, having the physical book is great, but having like a DRM free PDF that when someone says like, oh, I'm reading James and the Giant Peach and you know the two women don't seem that bad anymore, you can be like, oh, that's because it's been cucked beyond belief, and now instead of starring James it stars Janelle, and you know, and here's the actual version that I'll send to you as a PDF so you can read it on your phone, because that's the way you read things, like a moron.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer in physical media, but I hear your point big time, and that's why again I'm always like, yeah, I'll share my Plex with people. Like, why not? Like my friends, like like I mean, I absolutely, like you and I are gonna do a movie watch at some point, and actually it was funny because I could have sworn I had No Holds Barred on my Plex, but I didn't. I actually watched it on Netflix like in like 2014. And so I ended up going out of my way, going on eBay, finding a 3 Hulk Hogan movie DVD set, which comes with like Suburban Commando and Mr. Nanny, which I guess you and I probably will have to work through all 3 of them if time permits. Not on the same day, of course. You can only take so much Terry Hulk Hogan Balea at any time, but like it's those things because you like going back to like the WWE network, like I bought DVDs of like old WrestleManias, but I didn't get them. Like you almost need the old VHS tapes because they do this weird thing because they changed from the WWF to the WWE. Anything that was WWF, they'll blur out the logo, and it's like on the turnbuckles or it's on like their like shirts and stuff like that, and it's like borderline unwatchable because like it's this blurriness. And then you watch on like the network and they do a whole bunch of editing and doing all that kind of stuff. It's all rewriting history. It's all like you have to catch it live, and there's nobody's catching things live anymore, right? Like so you have to protect these things, and I'm all about that. I used to be a huge proponent against BitTorrents and stuff like that, but I'm loosening on it because again, like it's a survival mechanism at this point in time. And also too, most of the providers are set on Netflix, Disney Plus. I'm not going to do anything with those guys. I'm not dealing with them. I'm not giving them money to make garbage. So.
Well, and as they get rid of physical media and as they change the things that you used to have, like sometimes that's the only way to get that. Like, yeah, you can find an out of print copy of Rhinestone, but what you can definitely find is the torrent of it. Like, there are people that keep it up. There are lots of movies like that like they went out of print and they just never put them out again. Like True Lies. True Lies is unavailable on Blu-ray because James Cameron won't fucking sit down for 2 hours and watch the fucking Blu-ray remaster and go, yeah, go ahead and release this. So the only way to get it in 1080 is to torrent it. There aren't DVDs being made of it anymore. So like whatever DVDs are out there in the wild are what you got. Yeah, you can watch on Netflix, you can watch on Amazon for this month that it's there, this month that it's not.
Yeah.
But you can't buy a digital copy of it in 1080. And you can't get a Blu-ray copy of it. So like what? And it's all because he's been filming that fucking piece of shit Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Fucking moron.
Oh man. Well, hey man, it's been good having this chance catching up and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, I guess I'll see you again on episode 331 or 330. Yeah, something. Something like
Somewhere
that.
there.
All right, man. God bless. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
Cheers.